All right, folks. Good evening. As we usually do, I'll read you the last seven available daily inspirational titles. Then you guys can choose one, and we can go from there. And here they are. How and why the ego tries to hide your inheritance. The breath as the doorway to peace. Stepping off the ego stage. Let us be who in truth we are. Being of service by being your truest self. Consciously choosing forgiveness over judgment. And self-judgment, being in the right place at the right time. Any of those?
The first one, or choosing forgiveness over judgment, or the first one, which I don't
First one
remember.
was how and why the ego tries to take your inheritance. Then the breath as a doorway to peace. I'm sorry, yes. Um, Stepping off the ego stage, letting us be who in truth we are.
Stepping out of the ego's stage.
All right, stepping out of the ego stage. This will be the March 12th daily inspirational message, condensed version. It's 2 paragraphs long. I'll go ahead and read them and make a couple of notes and go from there. All right, March 12th, stepping off the ego stage, paragraph 1. We do a lot more acting during our day than we realize. In fact, every time we react with anger, judgment, stress, envy, jealousy, resentment, or hate, we are acting. It is tiring trying to be who we are not. Being who the ego has programs to think we are is a giant learning feat. Once we recognize what we have taught ourselves, we will never again question our power to learn any part we choose to play. We have put on masks, have lost ourselves in an actor's part within the ego's play, and have forgotten who we truly are. We have played the ego's fantasy roles for so long that we now don't even question or recall that it is a fantasy of lies that we have been taught are real and true, written by a liar. Paragraph 2. Today, let's practice recognizing when we are on the ego stage. Anytime we're not offering the truth within us, our peaceful, compassionate, forgiving, and loving nature, let us simply recognize we are on the ego stage. Why continue to play a part we now know we no longer want? Why continue to work for the ego when it only brings us judgment, anger, suffering, and pain? God has gifted us free will. We can step off the ego stage anytime we choose to. All we need to do is to recognize we are aligned with a mindset that does not represent the truth in us. Our interactions with others help us see when we're playing someone we are not. Today, let us take off the ego's mask and thank all who are offering us the opportunity to exit the ego's stage. End of paragraph 2. All right. So simply put, when you're being loving, compassionate, kind, generous, merciful, graceful, hopeful, you're being who you were created by God to be. Okay, that's your true self. When you're playing on the ego stage, if you're angry, judgmental, stressful, envious, jealous, have resentment, hate, you are in essence acting. You're not being who you were created to be. And those are kind of like masks we wear. Okay. So anytime you're not being some form of love, you're acting. Okay. The thing is, we've played this part for so long that we now think we are not acting. Right? We think this is just a normal experience no more expression to life. But in reality, it's not. It's just a play. It's just a part we've learned to play. Okay. So the idea is to recognize when you're playing the part and when you're being who you truly are. Right. So let's say our brothers and sisters are angry at each other. Right. If you join in the anger and you're angry at one or both, or maybe even yourself, you're playing a part. But if instead you offer the expression of love to the moment and those in it seem to be requesting, then you're being who you were created to be. So when you're being love's expressions, you're being who you were created to be. And what happens when you're being who you were created to be? You feel fulfilled, right? You feel like, yeah, I did my part today in this interaction. And so practice learning when you're being who you were created to be and when you're just being who you've been programmed and have learned to act to be. All of the ego's emotions and energies, they're just acts, parts we play. We play a fantasy role and we think it's real. We play a fiction role and we think it's nonfiction. All right. And so it's a pretty simple exercise today, stepping off the ego stage. Just learn to recognize if the truth in you is in control of your thoughts or if the ego is in control of your thoughts. If the ego is in control of your thoughts, then you're on the ego stage. If the truth is in control of your thoughts, if your mind is aligned with love, then you're not on the ego stage. The ego stage always produces some sort of judgment or anger or suffering or pain. Okay, some form of unforgiveness. That's what it always produces. And so there's no reason to keep on playing that part. If a part is not offering you what you truly desire, which is peace and joy, hope and healing, then why continue to play the part, right? So that's roughly what we're talking about today. To learn to recognize when you're playing the ego's part so that you can step off of the ego stage. Any comments or questions? Has anybody stepped on the ego stage this week?
All the time.
Yeah, when was the last time, Nori, you stepped on the ego stage and played the part?
Uh, okay, let me go over yesterday.
Anytime you weren't compassionate or forgiving or loving, you were playing the ego's part.
Yes, I'm trying to to think about my day yesterday. Where was it? There's a lot of time we do it unconsciously. We are so accustomed to it that it happens. Per se, I have a clear one just came into mind. My brother today, he decided to send me a little video from Instagram. And when I saw I just saw in my updates that he has sent me one. I said, "Oh my God, now what? What is he trying to teach me?" Okay, that's ego right there in there. That's ego. So
And what happened?
I cut myself, which is a good one. I cut myself. I said, "Ooh," I cut myself, and then nothing. I continue my day, and not too long ago, I went into the video, and I saw the video. Then again, there were certain things in it that I said to myself, "Oh, he probably sent it because of this." Another. I would say it was more of a spiritual kind of ego. When you think you know everything and you truly don't know anything. So it was one of those. So I caught myself doing that again. And what I'm doing is just basically being the silent watcher. And then what I do when when I finish the video, what I did is Hoponopono, apply Hoponopono into all that happened.
Okay, so was it like did he send you like a political video that triggered you, that usually triggers you, or?
No, no, no. This one was about cognition. You know, it was more into the spiritual side. So it was nothing spiritual. I'm sorry, nothing political at all. I truly don't remember. I'm trying to remember what was the video about. That's interesting.
But when he sent it
Oh,
to you,
wait, wow. Wow, now I remember. So the video was about exactly what we're talking about. You know, when you caught yourself, when you are the silent watcher, that you see what you're doing, like in this case, I was putting myself in a superior level per se, thinking that what is he going to teach me now? So the video was about that, recognizing those little, magna cognitions that allow you to reflect later on and say, hey, think about this again. Uh, See yourself in the mirror and see who's judging who, basically. It's
so
interesting.
there was maybe like a lack of humility.
I'll more into that. Yes.
Yeah, like what can he teach me? Well,
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. The spiritual superiority that we tend to go to.
Okay. And did you comment on the video later on?
No, 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 no. Like I said, when I finished, I went ahead and I did Hoponopono. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I did it a couple of times. And whenever he comes to mind, that's usually what I've been doing. And if it is something that I cannot handle or I don't understand for a particular reason, then I go to the Holy Spirit, please, let me see this differently. Maybe that's what I should be doing now. Or I would say that the Holy Spirit is using you right now to provoke this conversation so I can go back to it and re-analyze the whole thing and come to a better understanding. But then again, I'm treating it with love. That's my main point.
Yeah. So asking the Holy Spirit to help you see it differently is always like a very useful step. If you have somebody, and we all kind of might have somebody in our lives that sends us video after video of stuff,
So there you go.
and you're like, oh god, another one of his videos or her videos or whatever. You have to like take a little breath and remind yourself, okay, this person is just trying to send love, in their own way.
You're right.
Yeah, so that video is a symbol of his love for you, you know, because if he wasn't thinking about you, then he wouldn't send the video, right?
You're right.
So that's sometimes guys are not very good at saying
Uh,
that they love you, Yeah, we have a slight issue with that. Slight blocks to that stuff. So the emotional stuff. So yeah, so that's a form of him saying I love you, but in the video was a symbol of his love. And so when you start to recognize that it's just a symbol of his love, you know, then you become appreciative to him. And now inside your mind and inside your heart, you're appreciative of his effort, let's call it. So you know what he's really saying. You know, there's a video here. This is the ego's duality, where the video is sent. But what this really means is that, hey, I love you. I was thinking about you. Here you go. You know.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. For me, it's kind of hard because usually he uses a lot of videos to provoke me, to provoke, or text messages to get an answer from me. So I've been, you know, avoiding those. I don't usually, I don't answer to his stuff. I just look at it and I deal with it on my own. And I try to send him love and peace.
Yeah, and we know that either his video is love, right? It's an expression of love, or his video is a call for love. Right.
That's exactly right. Very well put. You are absolutely right.
Yeah. So whenever he's quote unquote trying to provoke you through a video, it's just him asking for help and healing. There's a call for love.
Yeah.
So all you have to say is, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into what the video was about. You can just send them a little text, say, hey, thanks for the video. I'll check it out later on, or whatever. Because in the end, after all is said and done, it's either the expression is either a loving expression or a call for love. And what's the response to love? Love. What's the response to a call for love? Love. How can you show that love? Maybe by saying thank you, appreciate that you thought about me, kind of thing.
You
And
see, I used to do that, but then he takes that and he continues on it, and then he makes a big thing out of it. So that's why I quietly I either do Ho'oponopono or I ask to see it differently.
okay, that's also perfect. Yeah, you've already been through
Oh,
that experience
yes,
enough times
yes,
to learn what works for you.
that's exactly right. I'm what is happening is I'm building my boundaries with him, and he's being disrespectful of it in the past. So that's why I came to the conclusion, okay, if you don't respect it, then I have to step out or see you from another perspective.
Yeah, and sometimes when we have to um, build these boundaries, it's because in the past we never set them up, right?
Absolutely. Mhm. Yeah.
For whatever reason, for X or Y reason, we thought we were unworthy of setting up certain boundaries,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And, and so, what's he really teaching you? He's teaching you that you can set boundaries. You can set loving boundaries. That it's okay to set boundaries. You know, and so in essence, what he's helping you practice doing is remembering that you're worthy of peace. That you're worthy of
Yes.
by setting those self-loving boundaries.
Yes. I have chosen to love myself in front of anything and everything and respect myself. And basically, that's what I've been practicing with him, just boundaries and respect. And the way I see it, I'm loving myself. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my health. And so far, it's been working, I would say. It's been working well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nori, I had a similar experience with my mother. She's always sending me things, and a lot of things. It comes from another country, So for me, it's easier to forgive because my ego is not as invested in that thing. So she sent like things like religious stuff that I'm like, oh my God, like this is just too much. But I brush it off, saying I cannot change her perception at this moment. She's 87 years old. She's seeing, the religious crap right now that way. I don't think I'm going to modify her way. Just let it be. For me, that was easy, right? And then this morning, we had the Oscars last night. And we had a Brazilian actor that running for the best actor. And so, the whole country was like pulling for him. And then this morning, my mom sent a message saying, oh, how good that he lost it, because he's a lefty, and political stuff, right? And he supports the left, and then she sent me this image with all kinds of bad things about the guy. So anyway, so I called her this morning, and I use that, and that's why I'm pitching in with this, okay? Because I use that to talk to myself, because I was very aware that I was speaking to myself. So I told, and I was so aware that I was saying, and when I am in similar situation, I have that difficulty too. So let's use this little thing in order to practice seeing things differently. So I told my mother, I said, listen, instead of saying, because she's like Christian, right? So say, instead of being so judgmental about this man, because they were talking all kinds of crap about him, I say, why judge him so badly? And let's focus on the guy that won. This guy won because he was a better actor. Let's celebrate this actor. you know and the Brazilian guy, he was also a good actor. That his opinion about the president, I don't think it has anything to do with his acting. But anyway, but I was using that, and I told my mother, say, I know it's not easy, but that's why we have to practice on the little things that it's so far away, because when something happens in our lives, we already practice enough in order to make it easier for us. So anyway, so I was talking like for a while with my mom about this morning. But like I said, we can use that as an awareness that we are speaking to ourselves, and because I even give an example. I say it's not easy, when I see political figures that it's difficult for me not to judge, but if I am doing my best, like, to focus on the kind of society that I want to see and act accordingly, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to pinch that, because I'm trying to use whatever activates me, uh, to use it as a source of understanding what's going on inside of me. And when I speak with my mom or whatever is triggering me, it makes it easier to see it. So that's why I like this group over here, that we can speak more, about personal issues, because I have a wonderful group here in Tampa, but we are very structured. And I like that we can speak up, personal issues, because we have to apply and support each other into applying in every stupidity that shows up in our lives, right?
All things are lessons God would have me learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like you said, your mother's response is just showing you something about your own internal condition and conditioning. And so her response, when she responds to you and she says whatever, okay, what is that showing me, about what beliefs am I holding on to within me? Am I in some ways too judgmental of other politicians, let's say? Because she believes this, I guess she's a very Christian person, I would guess.
Yeah.
So she's got those old Christian values, which is perfectly fine. I kind of have them too. But obviously I'm here, so I also have all this stuff.
Allegedly, because they're the first to be judging everything.
Yeah, but then like you said, she brought this experience into your life, right? She brought this expression of her life into your life. So obviously, you asked for that in some way, shape, or form, unconscious as that may be. You asked for this kind of interaction
Exactly.
to show you
Exactly.
an external picture of your internal condition and conditioning.
Yeah,
And so
because
something she said was
I
something.
am judging the shit out of everything that is going on right now. I don't say it out loud, but
Uh,
I am like, so that's why I spoke to my mother, because I usually text her,
yeah.
and I chose to speak because I think then when we verbalize it, it's much easier for things to come up. And I did it on purpose. I say, I know that I'm speaking to myself. I say, stop judging, so wasting your time, lowering, because she likes those things too, lowering the frequency. I say, stop lowering the frequency so much, and focus on the positive things to increase your frequency. So I kind of speak her language. And I knew I was speaking to myself, because if I just keep seeing things that judging, I mean, where's my smile? Like I haven't smiled the way I used to anymore. I miss that. Yeah, yeah. It's just increase our awareness of this projection game.
Yeah, and judging others poisons you, right? And so whenever you're holding on to those judgments of whoever and whatever, that's only poisoning you. So then you wonder why you're smiling less and less. That's because you're choosing to use your time to judge. You're deciding that um, your plan for people's lives are somehow better than God's plan for people's lives. So people, whatever it is that they think, that's what they need to think in that moment in time to accomplish or learn whatever it is that they're learning. And so their journey is whatever your mom says, that was perfect for her. Because for whatever reason, she needed to get that out. It's when we judge what they say that we lose our peace, that we lose our joy, right? And so is our peace and joy, is that something that we control? Or is that something that they control? We control it, right? By how we choose to define our brothers and sisters' experience or what they think, say, or feel. And so if you're just talking to your mom and before the phone call, it's good to be proactive and prepare yourself. you know. So you prepare yourself. Okay, I know my mom does kind of usually does things this way or that way or whatever. Okay, when she does that again, okay, my response is only going to be one of compassion, mercy, understanding, and peace. And so I'm going to respond to her in a way that brings me peace, that brings me joy. Okay, because I'm responding to her and I'm choosing to define what she's saying. So you're defining what she's saying, and how you're defining it is either going to bring you poison or peace. Okay. So you want to say to yourself, even before the conversation starts, even before you call, my goal in this conversation is that no matter what my mom says, I'm going to listen to her non-judgmentally. I'm going to offer my compassion. I'm going to offer my space and my ear. And I'm not going to judge anything she says. I'm not going to try to change anything she says. And I'm just going to remind her that I love her and that it's a really pleasant experience to speak to her. Because it is kind of like a beautiful thing that you have an 87-year-old mom that can talk, that can converse. That's not necessarily normal in this world. Most by 87, either people are gone or their heads are gone or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's a great gift from God to you to be able to still speak to your mom,
Mhm.
and that she can even even when she disagrees with you or says something that you disagree with, it's a beautiful thing still.
Yeah.
Hey, we're talking. That's beautiful.
But I was very aware that that probably how I sound when I'm speaking about political figures over here, you know. So I was using that in order to redirect her mind by redirecting my. I was very aware of that. What I was telling her, what it will be a better approach, I was telling myself, you know, instead of spending so much time pointing out what's wrong with this person, you know, focus on what I can do to have a better world or whatever, you know, or a better way of looking at things, or go and pray instead, you know. Yeah, I was very aware that that's probably how I sound.
Yeah. So it's very lovely because see, even before the phone call, you had a lot of experiences where you were judging people's behavior, right? So you had a lot of experiences where you were judging people's behavior. Then the mom call happens, right? So the mom call comes because you were dealing with all this judgment of others, right? So that judgment of others inside of your heart and inside of your heart and mind brought about this phone call. And then your mom was saying what you, in essence, were thinking before, right?
Mhm.
Your mom was judging actor X, and it was showing you that's simply what you were doing before the phone call. You were judging politician X or Y, right?
Mhm.
And so your mom is simply showing you what you were doing. And then you had a response to your mom
Yeah,
that offered
that's
her a
perfect.
way, offered her a way out of the darkness and back into the light, which
Yeah,
means that you were offering yourself the way out of that darkness, way out of that lack of joy.
yeah,
And so see the service that your mother was providing for you. She was
yeah.
in essence, through her presence, through your talking with her, was she was offering you a way out of your own darkness back into the light inside of you so that you can once again feel that joy, feel that peace.
Mm.
And now when you recognize this, only love and appreciation is your response to your mom now, because you know that she was simply reflecting your internal self, and your internal self was asking for help, and she answered that call.
Yeah.
And so we see the beauty of how God uses all for good, huh?
Yup.
Yeah, so amazing when you can when you can you know what is it called? Go from point to point and make the circle and see how God uses all for good. So even what the ego would have you once condemn your mother for, like your mom, let's say she says something X about that actor in the past, you would have said, "Mom, come on," you know. But thanks to the opportunity that she's offered you to practice seeing that whatever she's saying is just a reflection of whatever is inside of you. And by you helping heal her, by you helping her find a way to the light, in essence, you're helping yourself find a way out of your darkness and back into alignment with the light inside of you, which brings you more peace, brings you more joy. Yes, it's a beautiful thing.
Yay.
Yes. By the way, we're doing today, we're doing the March 12th condensed version, Stepping Off the Ego Stage. Um, Anybody else have any? We've talked about how there's certain thoughts that get you on the ego stage, like anger is a thought that makes you believe that you're somebody you're not, and so you get into the ego stage. Resentment, hate, fear, anxiousness, guilt, shame, all those get you on the ego stage.
I,
And
I
yeah, go ahead, Yvonne.
oh, I'm sorry. You want to finish?
It's okay. I'm basically said it.
Oh, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Um I'm stuck between compromising, like trying to get my way, and it's not working because because the other person has a different need, or way they want things to be, and it's very hard to find like a compromise in the middle. So I'm just having a really hard time not feeling shortchanged, and I don't want to shortchange the other person either if it's something that is, not easy for them, or they don't want to do. So I guess my question is it always ego to, if you, it's sounding, saying I want to get my way sounds like total ego. Um, so maybe it's more that I would prefer it and it makes me feel a certain positive way. And I guess it is the way, it is conditioning, it is the way that I interpret it. But it's very hard. It feels, let me say, it feels challenging to accept not having some things the way that I like them. Is that very vague, or did you get the gist, or do I need to be more specific?
It's a little vague, but if somebody has a comment or question about it, so
Oh,
you're feeling like you're getting short changed in a certain relationship.
yeah, I feel like my needs are not being I shouldn't say that are not being met. Okay, so the person has like made an attempt to meet my needs. However, it's not what they prefer. It doesn't come easy for them. They don't like it. Sometimes they feel forced. They complain, and then I'm like, okay, well, don't do it if you're gonna complain. I don't want you to do something that you don't want to do, right? And then so the other person would prefer a different way of doing things, which for me feels not so connected. But I said, okay, well, we will try that. But so that's why I feel, I guess, somewhat shortchanged, or like, and it sounds so egotistical, like my needs are not being met, and if if they were going out of their way, but they didn't want to necessarily um give me what was important to me.
Okay.
Is that a little more together, a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
more understandable?
yeah. I think most human beings who've been in relationships understand your situation. It's we're both you both are humans, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, is he a religious guy or a person?
Or a person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a religion, no, like a
yeah.
religious person.
No, he's more, he's spiritual. He's spiritual, but his ego is definitely bigger than mine. That just sounds not very kind, but he it is. Yeah, he's spiritual.
Okay. So does he? Let's say, as an example, does he believe in Christ? Let's say, or the Holy Spirit?
Mm, yeah, I mean, he believes in God. He believes in
Okay. So let's
he,
say let's
he,
say you feel like you're being shortchanged, right? When you view
mhm,
your experience through your eyes, right?
yeah,
And he feels like he's kind of being forced into do something he doesn't want, right?
right.
Okay, because he's viewing his experience through his eyes, right?
Yes.
And so maybe bring in, if it's possible, bring in the Holy Spirit or bring God in and ask yourself and ask him, how would God see this situation right now? What would love do in this situation? Okay.
Mm.
And so what would love do now? What would love think, say, and do now? And then try being not as you are, not as he is. Place that in the back. Place his personality and your personality, place it in the back, and then invite God in, love in, and ask love, what would you do in my place right now? What would you think, say, and do in my place for my brother? And then have him say the same thing. Have him bring in God or love or Christ and say, Christ, what would you do in this situation? What would love do in this situation? And then practice doing what love would do. See what love would offer each other, and then try offering them that for a while, and allowing love to lead the way instead of two different personalities.
Yeah, no, and I know the answer to that. I would give him what he wants, what makes him happy, what gives him peace, or so that's I think what the answer would be.
Okay, so somebody has their hand up. iPhone. I don't know if it's Wendy
It's
or somebody
Wendy.
else.
It is
Okay.
Wendy. Did not change her name. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi,
Uh,
Wendy.
so you spoke about just what I was going through myself, and
Oh.
um and I went through this large activation period where I'm like, I know exactly what I need, and this person won't give me exactly what I need, and I've explained it, and it's not even that, and it's hard for me to ask for what I need. So I was in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I don't understand why this person can't just do this. It's not even a hard thing to do. Why can't they just do what I want? I'm asking for it. Supposedly they care about me. Why can't you just do this? I'm not asking you to jump off a cliff. It's very easy what I'm asking for. A certain form of reassurance, a certain form of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I sat with it for a little while, and I realized, well, first I saw a parallel to something that I had talked about with James in this group and with other maybe before, that I initially, this is the parallel I saw, that I initially had a really hard time and was extremely frustrated in miracles because everybody was talking about their specific experience, bodily experiences with the Holy Spirit and feeling the Holy Spirit inside them. And you'll see where the connection is. And I didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I want to feel that too. I want God to talk directly to me. I want to feel all of these things, and why, and I'm doing all the lessons and I'm doing all the work, and why can't I have that? And it was just this very high level of frustration. So it's interesting how these two things connected. And what I realized eventually and recently, right? Because I had this dream with God is speaking to me and the two doves or whatever. And I knew it was real and I knew it was holy, but I couldn't feel it in my body. And I still was like, how, I had a sense of despair. How is this happening? And then I realized, and this is what I realized when this thing happened with this person today. It was just today, Yvonne. So you're speaking so perfect in time with me. And I thought, this is an expectation issue. Like, this is what I figured out with the God part of it. I'm like, God shows up where there's chinks in the armor. God puts light where there's a place for light to go. I have a 59-year-old traumatized body that has been on lockdown for most of my life. And I think somehow that, that I'm going to have the God experience the way I want it. Whereas God has shown me a dream where he's speaking to me. Whereas in the middle of a week where I was in absolute emotional chaos, I wrote a poem that was so miracles that I couldn't believe it, because I only ever write exactly how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling horrible, my writing comes out that way. It's tragic. If I'm feeling great, then I get beautiful poems. This was the exact opposite. And I understood perfectly that what it was showing me is that I can be here in my suffering, doing whatever I'm doing, but God is showing me at the same time that my spirit is running clear and that God is always there. If I don't feel God, that's not a God thing. That's a me thing. God is there and I'm having trouble communicating. It's my issue. And that God will show up where God is able to show up for me with what my limitations are at any particular time, but to have faith that God is there. So in the end, between both of these things, the human and the divine, I realize that it's my expectations that are causing my suffering. And that is not to say we shouldn't have needs and shouldn't express them, but there are attachment styles and avoidant attachment styles. If they feel direct pressure, and I would know because I have part of this myself, they detach. You know what I mean? Like that pressure pushes them backwards instead of getting them to respond. So you're sitting there going, I need this. And they feel this pressure and they're like, I have to back away from this because the pressure is too strong. Doesn't mean they don't love you. Doesn't mean they don't wish they could give you what you wanted. It means they have limitations right at that spot. And so the conversation I'm having with myself right now, and it may or may not be there for you, is this is my work to do. It's not their work to do. This is my work to do, to understand this sense that I have that everything should be given in the way that I want it given. And that if it's not given in exactly that way, that means the love isn't there or God isn't there. That's my perception problem. It's my misperception because God shows up for me all the time and the love that I have for the students and the way the students love me back and the dreams and the whatever. It's that I couldn't get it in the body the way I wanted to feel it. That's my issue. That's not God's issue. That's my issue because I'm demanding that it come in the way that I wish to experience it. And that is where the suffering is. And I would say the same thing for a human. I mean, does this human being show you love? Do you feel loved by this human being? Forget that one way you want to see it in general. Because when I think about the human that I'm dealing with, I'm like, I know there's love there. I know there's grace there. I know this person has shown me love without expectation. He's a human. How do I expect that this is going to be all the time that I'm going to get love without expectation? Only God can do that. All the time. You are always worthy all the time, 100% of the time. A human gives you moments of grace. A human shows their love to you, and you carry that with you for the times when there isn't that, for the times when they cannot come through in the exact way you want them to. That is what I have come to tonight. So, and it brings me peace. And that's why I'm telling it to you, not instructionally, not you need to do this. I'm telling it to you because in the moment that I accepted that a human being cannot be exactly what I want them to be all the time, no matter how much I think I need that thing, that's the ego, seek and never find. That I think I need it this way, only this way, and otherwise I am not feeling love. And there may be a compromise there, but for me, it's a different relationship, a different container, a different perspective. I'm like, can I remember that the first time I felt love without expectation was with this person? That's what I can hold. It won't be 100%. And you know what? I even transferred it to my daughter. I love my daughter more than I could love any human being. I could not be for her all the things she needed me or wanted me to be, even with all the love I had for her, even with the endless amount of love I had for her. She told me a few weeks ago, I needed this and you didn't give that to me. I needed that. And I said, I'm sorry. I wish I could be that wall of love. I wish I could have been that for you in that moment. I could not because I couldn't, because I'm a person and I was destabilized by her aggression. Like that's what happened. So I had to withdraw to some degree because I was like trying to protect myself. But the bigger picture is for me in this moment, and I told you I just came to this like, I don't know, 20 minutes before I got online here. Is there love there? Have they shown me love? Have I experienced it? And that, like I said, is a counterbalance. It doesn't mean you don't have needs. It doesn't mean you don't request them. It doesn't mean that you say, I'm wrong. It means if they cannot give me exactly what I want in this way I want it, can I still feel that love from them? That's all. That's what I'm offering to you because it brought, like I said, it brought me some peace tonight.
Thank you. That was beautifully said, and I could relate to that. The expectations definitely, and the going down a spiral and not looking at the bigger picture of everything else that all the other love that it's given is given in other areas. I have a tendency to get stuck or fixated on things, and then sometimes they grow, and it is my stuff for sure. I know that. um so thank you for sharing. And yeah, it's so much easier to like share this with when I work with people. I'm able to speak like this about their relationships, but then when it comes to mine, I'm like, I get so stuck. And I know it's about me, and it's easy to fall into that woe is me. Oh, they don't care about me, because if they did, they would do this. And I know better, but yeah. So, mm, I love the part of not putting it on the other person, obviously. And what's the word? Looking out, looking, expanding, not just looking at a one tiny detail.
And give yourself some grace is the other thing I would say, for misperception, for unrealistic expectation. I mean, you're just a tiny human like the rest of us. And,
Yeah.
and doesn't matter if you're a therapist or not a therapist, we all have needs. We all have activation and triggers and, things that we react to. And we all have reactions when we feel a sense of separation. And that's
Oh,
mostly what all of any of this is, that it makes
yeah.
you feel distance, and distance is scary, and distance makes you feel alone, and brings back any childhood crap that did the same thing to you. Look, James, I said crap instead of shit. I mean, shoot, I wasn't going to do it.
We didn't hear it. We didn't hear it. But no, you're right. And it happens with my
I wasn't
kids
going to do it.
too.
That's okay. I'm a blessing because James needs to work with that. And so it's either love or a call for love. You decide, James. Anyway, um, Yvonne,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I I have so much empathy though, because it's such a difficult place to be in emotionally, when you're like, it's right in front of me and I could have that if I
That.
only do this, it could all be okay. And it's such a small ask. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're telling yourself. Well, that's what
Right.
yeah, I mean, I feel it. I know exactly, because that's what I'm saying. It's just, you're so close up and in it and activated, that's what you're hyper focusing on.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
don't, in that moment, you don't have the bigger picture, and you
Yeah.
feel the love. You feel constriction. You feel constriction because your love is squeezed because you're not getting your need met, and so your love for them and your perception of their love for you is very constricted in that moment.
Totally. And I know it's just an illusion, because if it's not this, then it'd be something else, and it'd be something else, and it would never end, right? Like, that's how I think that happens. Like, uh
Yeah,
you'll have this need, this is okay, and there's something else, and then there's something else, and there's always something. At least that's what's happened to me before. So I know that it needs to be dealt with, and not expected, and uh obsessed over, or whatever, for lack of a better word.
no, it's there to show you what you need to work on for yourself, instead of it, you're externalizing it right now, but it represents something bigger because you just said it. It represents a pattern. Uh,
Totally.
and so that's the part that needs to be worked on. You could still work with him individually on whatever you need and whatever you can get and whatever compromise you can make, but it's showing you this bigger pattern because I have that bigger pattern too. So, you spot it, you got it. What can I say?
And yeah, and it's taking my peace away for sure, and I'm the only one that could give myself peace. I know that for sure. I mean, people could do things, and they could trigger you, and they could bother you, but the peace is mine to have and to find and to stay in. So yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
Yes, and remember, we're all one, right? So maybe offer that individual what you would want for yourself. And so whatever it is that you think you need, offer that to your brother or sister. Because just by offering it to them, it has to first flow through you, right? And so whatever you offer your brother or sister, first you experience first yourself. So whatever that is that you think you need, offer it to your brothers or sisters and feel it flowing through you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wendy said, the expectations are what causes your suffering.
Right.
So just practice, trying in some form, try not to have an expectation. Try to remember that each one of us is always at our highest level of self-development, right? So each one of us is always trying, at least consciously or not, trying to do the best they can with what they have within them. And you can only offer your brother or sister what you yourself have, correct?
Correct.
And so if you offer them that thing that you think you are lacking and you experience it, now your brother has it, right? So the more your brother or sister experiences it, the more they'll feel like, I have this too. So if I have
Right.
it too, if I have it too, I can now begin to give it away.
Yeah, I mean, it would, so that would be connection. So I would offer connection in the way that, well, that not only I can, but probably in the way that they prefer. Um, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I have to get out of my mind that says, well, I'm not getting the connection the way I want it. But if I'm giving connection, then I will be connected, even if it's not exactly the way I would prefer.
Yeah, and also practice trusting in the divine design and the journey you have co-created with God. And like Wendy said a little while ago, is God puts light where light needs to go, right?
Mhm.
And so whatever it is that you're experiencing is something that God knows at a higher level that you need to experience. And so whatever the game is that's being played between you and your brother or sister, you know, just trust that everything will work itself out. Just keep loving them, keep offering them what you yourself want. If you want more peace, offer them peace. If you want more joy, help them laugh, that kind of thing. Offer them what you think you lack. If I think I'm lacking joy, let me just offer my brother or sister a couple of jokes. Now he or she laughs. I'm giving an example, right? He or she laughs, and his or her laughs makes me joyful, and so now I have joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, offer your brother what you think you want, what you think you need, because whatever it is that you think you need, the truth is that you already have it within you. And God is just just trust in God's divine timing. Everything will work itself out. And so just practice being in the moment, in the holy instant, and saying, thank you, God. I'm now going to offer my brother or sister whatever it is that I can. I'm going to try to see them only as you see them. And I'm going to offer them my love, my mercy, my grace. And then as you offer your grace to your brother or sister, you feel that grace flowing through you, healing you as you do. Now your brother or sister is filled with grace. And now because he or she is filled with grace, she or she now has the ability, more ability to offer that grace to you, kind of thing. Yes, Wendy?
I just wanted to say that Nori said in a meeting, one of the Sunday Miracles meetings, probably a week or two ago, about saying the Ho'onoponopo Hawaiian thing when these
Yeah.
women were in line at the supermarket and who were rude to her. And I have been using that, and I used it in this situation, Yvonne. I'm just letting you know. In this situation where I was upset with the other person, it felt like they had done me wrong by not responding the way I needed the response. I did that, and it it really helped because it brought out gratitude in me for all the things they had done for me and allowed me to sort of have that bigger picture. So I don't know if that will help you with this person that you're struggling with, if you want to try it. But that Ho'oponopono, which I'm probably pronouncing all wrong, prayer is a little miracle all in itself. And I'm grateful to Nori for I had heard it before, but because she used that specific example, because I was only thinking, you do it when you've done something wrong. And when she used the example that somebody actually wronged her and she used it for them, I was like, oh, I can use it that way too. And it really is was very powerful for me this evening when I did it. As I told you, I found some peace, and I want that for you as well. And I hope you find it any way you can.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, I've used it before. I didn't think of using it for this, but yeah, I will try it all.
And when you offer them that, again,
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono prayer, it's
Ho'oponopono.
basically the same thing as saying, you offer them your the grace, grace. When you offer them the love of God, and I remember when my grandmother used to argue and try to argue with me, and I never argued back. But I remember always thinking like loving thoughts when she was saying whatever she was saying, like the Charlie Brown thing, when the Charlie Brown only hears like Matt, 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 Matt from adults. And so that's kind of what I was doing. She was saying God knows what. We don't want to know what she was saying, but she was very liberal with her words. And but I was just a child, right? And so I would offer her my love in that situation. I would just offer her my love because I wasn't interested in what she was saying, because what she was saying was in essence insane, right? But I didn't want to buy into that insanity. So I didn't see what the world would teach me that I should be seeing. I instead chose to see that this person is right now at this moment a little bit off. But I saw her I tried to see it through God's eyes. That's what I was trying to do, unconsciously. Seeing her through love's eyes, seeing her with grace, remembering that each and every one of us is always doing the best we can in the moment, consciously or not, with the tools we have available to us. If we are love, right? So we want to be loving. That's our natural state. And so we're always trying to be loving. But it's just sometimes we have been programmed otherwise and we forget. Go ahead, Wendy.
I just wanted to say that Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Nori's the one who can say it right.
Yeah, somebody put it on the chat.
Yeah. What was so powerful to me about saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, to somebody who I felt wasn't doing what I needed done, was that it allowed me to see that I was judging the way they were expressing love to me. Like when I started it, I was like, I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but I'm going to do this and just see what happens. But what happened as I was doing is, as I understood that I was passing judgment, and that they had shown me a tremendous amount of love, and that, this is just a human like me, and they cannot be everything I want all the time. And that expectation was wrong. So I was apologizing for that in that prayer. And so I don't know if, again, I'm just trying to help you if that helps you, because it helped me. That was all.
Yeah, thanks. It lowers your defenses, definitely, because you could see another perspective.
See them? Go ahead,
I'm sorry. No, please. It's your class completely. Yes. Go ahead.
It's our class. Yeah, go ahead, Nori.
No, I wanted to say that since that happened to me, I've been looking at the similarities between Ho'oponopono and A Course in Miracles, and there are so many of them. Per se, responsibility. When you do Ho'oponopono, it's because you're recognizing that you have a part of whatever it is happening at that moment. And then what you asking forgiven is you cleansing your thought. Same situation like what we do in the Course of Miracles, is Course of Miracles is more about forgiving your thoughts, forgiving your misperception. And that's exactly what you're doing with Ho'oponopono and the forgiveness. Number one, you want to see things differently. That's why you go for that prayer. And you ask for forgiveness of you misperception, which is exactly the same thing that we do with the Course of Miracles. And the other one is you want that connection with your higher being, in this case the Holy Spirit for the Course in Miracles. So Ho'oponopono is incredible. Like I said, I'm gonna keep writing my little messages about the similarities in between the two. I even found someone in Spain, this teacher, that she rephrased. She was saying that, of course, she's a teacher of the Course in Miracles, and she has done a bunch of books on it and so on. And she was saying that Ho'oponopono is a Course in Miracles, but express. Because your main thing is to practice, practice, practice. And how you practice? Recognizing 100% responsibility for your thought and praying immediately, saying, please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. And just saying that as a mantra, it is amazing because it helps you quiet your mind. So, oh, thank you, Wendy, for doing it. I think it makes sense why I experienced what I experienced that day in Costco, because I was extremely surprised because I was not expecting anything out of it. Nothing. I did it for me, and I have spoke about it with you guys, and I have spoke about it with other classes that I'm taking, and it's amazing. It's amazing the effect that it's having with other people too. So I'm glad it helped you. I'm very, very, very glad it helped you.
I am using it. I'm going to be using it like everywhere after after what I saw it did today. It's is going to be a 24/7 thing for me because I think it's sort of a bypass is the wrong word because that sounds like you're not doing the work. It's like a
Yeah.
link to getting to forgiveness and then gratitude, which for me is always like I don't know, a 10-year trek to try to get up that mountain. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like it was such a fast way to sort of cut through. James, I'm not going to curse the crap. Um, I just felt it to be very profound and useful.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean nothing else. You know what I mean? I'm still going to do the lessons and everything else, but just in the moment of activation, to have that is
Hmm.
beautiful. It's a gift. So you brought us a gift. Thank you so much, Nori.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think it's a perfect combination when it comes to the Course of Miracles and Ho'oponopono. Is a perfect combination.
Yeah,
Perfect combination.
because you're learning to see like God sees with His grace, right?
Yeah.
So now you're not seeing somebody who's quote unquote lacks something or is not being able to offer you something. Whatever that something is that you think you're lacking or that they lack and cannot give you, you're offering that to them, and you're reminding them that they too have that. They're too worthy of that grace. So when you, instead of judging them, you say you say inside your heart and mind, I'm sorry for judging you. And inside of your heart and mind, you say, please forgive me for judging you. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
then you say inside of your mind, thank you for being here, for showing me that I can even now choose peace by offering you that grace.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
saying, I love you for that. Thank you for being in my presence because you're offering me the opportunity to remember that I can see this world through God's eyes. I can
Mhm.
experience heaven on earth instead of hell on earth.
Yeah.
James,
You are absolutely right about that. And the most important part in both teachings that I have found is I want to choose love instead of fear, and that to me is key.
can Mike or James tell me I think there's a line in the book in the text. Marianne Williamson referenced it when I was listening to her today, and it was something like the only thing lacking in any situation is what you are unwilling to give or show or bring. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what line that might be?
Yeah, I kind of remember it. Mike, do you remember?
Yeah, but I can't point to where it's from. Yeah, yeah, that's a line in the course that says that. Yeah, I can't
So
remember exactly.
that struck me because it's like if you're struggling with somebody, the only thing lacking is what you yourself are holding, holding back. And what you're holding back is forgiveness. What you're,
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's what you're withholding,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. What you're withholding is compassion for the other person. You can see, I always say that in order to overlook, you have to look. You look at the other person, yes, you see the mistakes that this other person is making, and you recognize that they're just mistakes. We all make mistakes. This other person is not an idiot, is not a jerk. It's just a brother who has made a mistake. And when you become compassionate for other people's mistakes, it makes it easier to be compassionate about our own mistakes,
But it may
which
not,
is really what the problem is. It's really what's bothering us.
but Mike, it may not be a mistake at all. It's just two ways of living in the world. You know what I mean? Some people have different ways of expressing love. It doesn't mean it's a mistake. It just means they they can't give that thing in the way that you want it. That's not a mistake. That's just their way of living. So try to understand how they are expressing love and see the love in what they do, and forgive them for not being able to meet your expectation. It's not a mistake. They just can't be that. If they could, they
Yeah,
probably would if they love you, right?
Here
yeah,
in Google, it said, only what you have not given can be lacking in any situation. Means that every problem or uncomfortable situation is a projection of a lack of love, and therefore love is the only solution needed. It teaches that you are in charge of your experience, not a victim of the circumstances. So only what you have not given can be lacking in any situation.
Yes, that's what she said.
yeah. Anytime we are not being loving, anytime we're acting out of any of the expressions of fear, such as anger, hate, resentment, fear, what we call fear in this world is just one of the expressions of fear. Okay, the real fear is that somehow there's something wrong with me and I need to make up for that. I need to somehow, um, what's the word I'm looking, somehow atone for that. Okay. One of the examples I use is schoolyard bully. When a schoolyard bully goes around beating up little kids, that is a mistake. That is a mistake. Is it a call for love? Yes. It's because that schoolyard bully somehow feels that he's not strong enough, he's not good enough somehow. But if I beat up these little kids, then I can pretend that I feel great about myself.
Yeah.
That said, this is a world of levels. Most of the things we argue about or we worry about are just, half a dozen of this or six of that. No big deal. Some things in this world are real horrible mistakes, killing people, all kinds of hate. So most of the things that we fight about in this world, that we argue and that we have problems with in this world, are somewhere in the middle. It's just a matter of perception. You see it this way, I see it that way. It's okay. There are, yeah, like I said, this is a world of levels. There are horrible mistakes. There are absolutely wonderful acts of love. And somewhere in the middle, there's what difference does it make? Should I order chicken or fish? Order whatever you want. What difference does it make?
And here it says, when in a challenging situation, ask, where and to whom am I not extending love? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if
Yes.
by offering love, kindness, or peace, you fulfill the lack, in quotes, and change your perception of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so the answer, as usual, is love.
Yeah. And when you ask yourself, where have I done that? It means where have I made a mistake? And mistakes are for correction or nothing else. Mistakes are not for beating yourself up. They're to recognize, oops, I made a mistake. I wasn't loving, like it says. Like that line says, I wasn't loving, that was a mistake. Mistakes are for correction or just for my recognizing that was a mistake. And now that allows me to make a decision. Do I want to keep making the same mistake or do I want to choose once again?
Any final comments or questions before we close?
I have one more just because
All
I
right,
can't.
go ahead.
But I think it's helpful. I don't know if I said this, but one of the things that I did with that, I know, Nori, I'm going to say it wrong. Hoponoponopo. I'm just going to call it that because I know I always say it wrong.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat, by the way.
I
It's in the
know,
chat.
I'll practice it. By whatever name I call it, I used it internally for myself. And it was also very powerful that way, because if you are misperceiving somebody else, and then you can end up judging yourself for being judgmental of somebody else, that's no better.
Mm-hmm.
If you let it go with them, but then you have attacked yourself, that's no better. And I only, of course, learned about the whole self-forgiveness part only 2 years after I got here, but okay, that's how long it took me to realize I had to do it for myself too. But that prayer is the same thing. It like went straight to me, like that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I can get to forgiveness here. My misperception is just a misperception. And I
Yeah, every
That's
moment, every moment in reality is a gift from God to you. So when you're not seeing the moment as a gift from God to you, then you can use the Ho'oponopono prayer and say,
Ho'oponopono.
yes,
Nori,
Ho'oponopono,
say it right for us.
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono. Okay, so so when you're not in the holy instant, then that's the perfect time to do that prayer and say, you're in essence saying sorry to God for my own misperception. Please forgive me. And then you thank God and you tell God that you love him. And because we're all one, whatever it is that you're offering God has to first flow through you. So in essence, you return to the holy instant by being grateful to God, by forgiving your misperception. And with
Would
that
you
being
like to
said,
play 1 minute with God?
yeah, sure. 1 minute
Okay.
with God.
Alrighty, let's close our eyes.
We clearly see you, dear one, for you and we are one in truth, and you, that you truly are, is all there is to know. Together we heal the world. We cannot be apart in truth. To be apart is but illusion, and nothing but your awareness, your attention to truth is needed for you to experience the healed world, which is the oneness that we share, child of God. This entails all of the usual practices of mind training that we teach, handing everything over to the Holy Spirit. Relinquish the illusory role of judge and let go all the false ideas about yourself, as though you can be anything other than love and truth. Practice what is given, for this will always be the way and will remain so until learning is no longer needed. You simply arise as you truly are, the blazing light of love that you were created to be. You are blessed and all is well, and you are loved eternally. Namaste.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Monica, Wendy, Mike, Yvonne, Jen, Shelley, GB, Gay, Nori. Thank you all. This video will be up tomorrow at 5 p.m. if you want to rewatch it with the show notes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night,
Good night.
guys.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.